Hi everybody, my name is Chris the Good Guy, and today is February the 10th, 2014. I'm going to be taking a break from other shows that I'm going to be currently working on now, since I do hosting the All New Nightlife show and the 4 o'clock game, and I got some sad news that I have to say this morning, and you know what? I just came home from work, right before I came to work this morning, right before I got into there. I was listening to the radio and I heard the sad news that happened this morning. As you probably remember, if you have tuned in, if you followed us this morning, if you're watching this video, I got some sad news to say. As you probably know, if you remember, is Shirley Temple has just passed away. She was 85 years old. Wow, that was very sad. It's probably one of the saddest news that happened this morning. And as you remember, Shirley Temple, if you watched one of those movies, if you remember Shirley Temple, she was in a lot of these movies, and she became the original child star that started it all. She started in the early 1930s, and she was she was in many of her short movies. Then she went on to feature films from like 1933 to 1949. And then that right in her teen years, right up until she was 20 years old, she left the studio. She left the film. She retired from filming as an actress to become a U.S. ambassador. And right up until the very end. And I always remember watching Shirley Temple films, and she became America's top box office draw from the 30s, if you can remember. No other. And yep, I just read a story about that. And her name, she was married to Charles Black, and her name was Shirley Temple Black, and that's the name. I don't like the name, so I just prefer Shirley Temple over them. And this is very sad news. That's an unfortunate news. She died from her natural causes, and she released a statement on behalf of her family saying, "We salute her for a life of remarkable achievements as an actress, as a diplomat, and most importantly, as our beloved mother, grandfather, great-grandmother, and adored wife for 55 years of the late and much missed Charles Alden Black." And, of course, she actually wrote her autobiography called Child Star. And this is actually I actually read these books. So in 1988, Shirley Temple wrote her autobiography called Child Star. And I used to read the book when I was in school, and it brings back a lot of great memories of reading the book, and reflected back on my youth. This is a very interesting, surprising thoughts, and I know. Let me tell you my story about this. What happened when I actually got into Shirley Temple movies? I was young. I was young when I used to watch Shirley Temple movies, and I actually had a VHS tapes of all of the movies that I actually had. I used to have Little Miss, what's this called? The Poor Little Rich Girl, and of course, there were other movies. I used to have Curly Top, Wee Willie Winky, a few other movies. There were a lot of great movies from the 30s, and Curly Top was another great one. But that's the film that I was trying to discuss. It probably in the near future I will be doing the All New Nightlife show. And where I'm going to show you all my top 10 Shirley Temple movies. We're going to talk about this probably in the months to come. When I am planning on doing the All New Nightlife show, will feature top 10 Shirley Temple films. And this was pretty sad for all the years after seeing all the Shirley Temple movies. And this is very well done. She does a great job, and she did the best of it. Back when she was 6 years old, she was great. She was a very good actress, and right into her teen years. And this is one of her best movies. I always right into her teen years. She did Since You Went Away, I'll Be Seeing You. And one of my favorite movies of all time is Fort Apache, directed by John Ford, which co-starred John Wayne. It's probably one of my favorite film of all time. Miss Annie Rooney, which was another film, which was her first on-screen kiss. As another maturing child star. And then, of course, that was she was in a lot of great movies ever since. And, of course, throughout the 1940s until she left the studio, her last movie was I'm going to talk about other movies that I would like to share with you just a moment, probably. Well, I will show you my Shirley Temple collection. And like I said, Child Star. I used to read these. I used to have that book because she wrote her autobiography in 1988, became a bestseller, and of course around that time, it was pretty well done. She married to Charles Black in 1950, and of course, she was undergoing surgery for breast cancer. She was actually in 1972. Was undergoing surgery, and of course, and there you go, because this was one of the films that one of the greatest child star ever. The first child star to become in movies. Yeah, you probably know. I just want to hear a video remembering Shirley Temple. I'm going to play the audio clip from it, so I'd like to recognize.
The most iconic child stars in Hollywood. Today, family and friends, fans as well, are remembering Shirley Temple.
Temple sang, danced, and grinned her way into the hearts of millions of people with her signature curly hair and dimples. She died last night at her home in California. And entertainment reporter Sandy Kinnan is joining us now to look back at her legacy. Sandy.
Lori Ken, for 4 years during Hollywood's golden age, nobody was more popular than the little gal with golden curls. Shirley Temple's movie career ended more than 60 years ago, but the films made by the first child star and the most popular are still watched and enjoyed today.
On the good ship, lollipop.
She gave the nation hope in hard times, made the Great Depression seem less depressing. As long as we have Shirley Temple, said the President of the United States, we're going to be all right.
I go where you go, any place will do.
Shirley Temple was a dancer at the age of 2, began acting at 3, and by the time she was 6 years old, her name was above the title, and she was making the equivalent of $2 million a year in today's money. At the height of her fame, Temple was given a special Oscar, pint-sized like her, to recognize her unique place in American life.
Mommy, can I go home now?
As she grew up, Temple's popularity began to fade. Her first marriage to former co-star John Agar failed, and she retired from films at the age of 22. Shirley Temple, who found happiness in a second marriage lasting half a century, would always say her favorite role was as a wife and mother, though she did enjoy a second career as an ambassador and continued to collect all sorts of awards for her unique role in Hollywood history.
My thanks to the industry for helping me to have an enchanted and very busy childhood.
Consider this legacy, if you will. There are 3 girls in our studio right now, aged 10 and 11, who say they are big Shirley Temple fans. A famous writer once said, there are no second acts in American life, but that simply wasn't true in the case of the child star who went on to forge a career in public service as a U.S. ambassador, Shirley Temple Black.
Yep, that was very sad to say. And from a side of all the Shirley Temple news that happened this morning, I want to share. I have 2 record collections I have found. I have 2 of the albums I have, and 2 of the DVDs I actually have, and a couple of these I have it in my computer. So I want to share with you a couple of other stuff that I have to talk about there today. So here's an album. This is Little Miss Shirley Temple. This album came out on Pickwick in the early 70s. This is a double album. And you can see the posters on the back shows Little Miss Broadway. It says, Little Miss Shirley Temple, complete with dimples and a song tiptoed into your hearts again on 2 LPs. You can see here's the gatefold. Well, that's very sad. You can read the description. And with that, I have a record that is playing right now. That is, this is the Pickwick release. And I'm playing this one right now. Oh, I just forgot to play this one right now. Listen to this.
On the good ship, loading up, it's a sweet trip to a candy shop where bonbons play. On the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay, lemonade stands everywhere, cracker jack fans, smelly air, and there you are, happy landing on a chocolate bar.
Yep, this was her signature song. As you probably know, I'm playing this right now. See, that is very sad news. This music will live on. Fans of Shirley Temple. Yep, very sad to say. And now this next one I have, the other one I have, The Best of Shirley Temple Volume 2. It's got all the songs on there. This was released in 1965, and yep, this is a 20th Century Fox LP, and this is very sad. I'm not getting rid of this record album, but I am keeping this one as well because in memory, dedicate this one to the memory of Shirley Temple. But this is where I'm playing right now. I'm in the middle of the song. I'm playing record right now. I just want to show you some other movies I have. I looked it up under Shirley Temple. And I have all the files. I have it in my hard drive. Look at this. It's got Stand Up and Cheer, Baby Take a Bow, Bright Eyes, The Little Colonel, Our Little Girl, Curly Top, The Littlest Rebel, Captain January, Poor Little Rich Girl, Dimples, Stowaway, Wee Willie Winky, Heidi, Just Around the Corner, The Little Princess, Susanna of the Mounties, and Bluebird. And of course, Little Miss Broadway was the last film that Shirley Temple did for 20th Century Fox. I think Little Miss Broadway was one of them. I think the Our Little Girl was actually the last one they did for 20th Century Fox. But this is very sad. And after she left 20th Century Fox, she went over to a company known as Selznick, David O. Selznick, the one who produced Gone with the Wind. She also did a movie called Since You Went Away. Co-starred Claudette Colbert. And then I'll Be Seeing You, co-starring Ginger Rogers. I used to have this on VHS. I used to tape it off television. But sadly, I erased it. But there's actually other movies. I know who was in this films. I have a look at the other movies that she did over the years. I have to find Shirley Temple films. You know, I know there's a list of movies. I have to figure out the films that she did. This is actually her filmography. I hope they have a list of other films that she did for years. Yep, Young People. That's the last films he did for 20th Century Fox. Then Kathleen. She made a brief role. Miss Annie Rooney. She was actually her. She made her first on-screen kiss. Like I said before, Since You Went Away, I'll Be Seeing You, Kiss and Tell, Honeymoon, The Bachelor and the Bobby Socker. And there's also That Hagen Girl. And also, Fort Apache. This is one of my all-time favorites. And this is, I have the DVD in my hand, and this is Fort Apache. And this is one of my all-time favorite film. This is my favorite Shirley Temple movie ever is Fort Apache, co-starring John Wayne. And this is a very good movie. I definitely like Westerns very much. It's a good film. And of course, there's also Mr. Belvedere Goes to College from 1949. She went back to Fox for one more movie, and of course, The Story of Seabiscuit with She played Margaret O'Hara Knowles. And this was one of her last films she did for Shirley Temple until she retired at age 22. Like you mentioned on the news. There it is, I have it right here. Along with my other favorite, National Velvet. The Story of Seabiscuit was a great, great movie. I always loved that film very much. And this was one of Shirley Temple's last movies she did. Here you go. I didn't get a list of it. Yep. It's not even on there, but it has the disc itself. And that's it. She became an ambassador, like I said. As I mentioned in the news, if you want to see it, go check it out. There's a link to it. It's actually drmacro.com. You can look it up under Shirley Temple. If you look at the section right there, they got pictures of Shirley Temple. Through over the years, they're all publicity photos and a whole bunch of stuff. It's in there, but you should check the link. It's at drmacro.com. They got lots of publicity photos and photo shoots and candid shoots of Shirley Temple. Yeah, I'll let it play right now because that's very sad to say. Yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad, and it's actually Shirley Temple. It's very sad to say she passed on at age 85. One of the first original child star that braced the Hollywood silver screen, as braced the Hollywood spotlight, and you cannot believe this. This was way before the Olsen twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. If you look at other child stars, long after Shirley Temple, they got a lot of great child stars like Mara Wilson, the one who was in Mrs. Doubtfire, the Miracle on 34th Street remake, and Matilda. She was in a lot of good movies. I think this was Mara Wilson. That was before she did as a child star. She was also Natalie Wood. She was in Miracle on 34th Street, the original Miracle on 34th Street, where she was also a child star as well. And of course, I don't know who was the other child star who was in there. Back in the 90s, there was Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. There was Dakota Fanning. And of course, there were other great child stars who were involved into any movies. If you back in the 70s, there was Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie. She started as an actress on TV with Michael Landon in Little House on the Prairie. She was in, I don't know. And there's also another movie, I think, when she was... If you look at other child star status, Kristen Dunst, she first appeared in a TV commercial for Baby Dolly Surprise ad. If you look at... Yeah, there were a lot of good... Before they become famous, you know, as child stars went on to star in commercials and a lot of stuff there. This was way after it followed Shirley Temple's status. Even today, there were a lot of great child stars to be as well as today. But who will never forget? And you will never forget as one of the movies, and I think it was Eloise at the Plaza. And I know those who watch this film. I guess this is what we call Eloise at the Plaza. Where is this? I don't know who starred in this movie, I think. Sofia Vasileva. Come here. Yeah, that's right. She played the role of Eloise. And I have nothing else to say about about other child stars who was in there. So if you want to see, if you want to talk about child stars, I have to list all of them. I don't have anything to list it as well. Yeah, I just want to let it play because this record is about to end on side 1. So we'll come to a conclusion of Shirley Temple's tribute. And I would like to say this to everybody: may Shirley Temple rest in peace. And she'll live on forever, of course. After all these years, long after this child star status, you know what? We will surely be missed by many fans, and every Shirley Temple fan. And for those of you watching this on my channel, all I gotta say is, Shirley Temple, may she rest in peace. This is Chris the Good Guy, and I will see you then.